Today, we're talking to Dr. Michelle Cole from Moving Forward. Her company provides therapy and mental health support to families and to kids across the Northern Virginia area and virtually. Michelle, so let's kick it off. Tell us, what are some common signs when kids are feeling overwhelmed by school?
Yeah, as we move into the school year, there's lots of transitions, and we're looking at, different factors: headaches, stomach aches, refusal to go, anxiety, sadness, difficulty concentrating, lack of sleep or inability to sleep. And these are common signs that your child is feeling overwhelmed by school or extracurricular activities.
So, what drives this, Michelle, in the first place? Is it sometimes we just think it's the parents, but a lot of times it's sometimes the child's internal drive. Sometimes they feel pressure from their very accomplished peers. What's going on?
So I would say that it's often both, not one. Some kiddos are just born, where they have, more perfectionistic tendencies. They have more negative self-talk that, drives them to, perfection. Sometimes it can be the factors of what's happening at home with parents. It could also be, social factors, social media, peers, and feeling competitive with their peers. Sometimes it could just be all internal drive. But regardless, it's, whether it's real or perceived, it's how they feel.
And I know it's treatable too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's very treatable. And, I think that we need to think about, normal is more temporary and manageable. More severe, it's more chronic. And we see it lasting for at least 2 weeks as we have moved through the transitions into the new school year. And once we see that, reach out to us here at Moving Forward. We're happy to talk about what it is that's happening. Like I said, school refusal, um, difficulty concentrating, lack of sleep, refusing to go to activities that they normally would are excited to go to, their lacrosse practice or their tennis practice. So we have to start to think about what their norm is that we're normally seeing, and we're seeing these behavioral outbursts that we don't know where they're coming from, and we need to reach out.
So, at home, what can parents do to best support their kids?
One of the things that I like to talk about is weekly family meetings. I find that Sundays are usually the best day to do that. We can catch everybody at home on that day at some point in time. It doesn't have to be a long family meeting, maybe just for 20 minutes, where we all come together with our digital calendar, we come together with our paper calendar, and we talk about what the week is going to look like, and we all sync up. We sync up our digital calendar. I like to talk about the old school desk calendar, where everybody writes down what it is they have coming up each day of the week, or dad or mom writes it down, and then they have a color coded system. You get a different color and you're highlighted, and you put it on the refrigerator, so at any time you can go and see what it is that you have coming up that day to help decrease anxiety and manage stress about transitions and activities overall. One of the big things I think we can never forget to do is to add in downtime. We're all always looking for balance as adults, and for our kiddos, we're going to teach them how to learn balance, and that is making time to relax, have a family Friday movie night, or just a time in the house where all electronics are turned off, and we're just going to have some quiet time, play a game, and just be together as a family.
I never really thought about that, like teaching downtime. And it just makes complete sense. We're always teaching our kids to do other things, but that seems like one of the most important things we can relay to our kids.
100%. I think you're right. It often goes overlooked because we're always adding more, and instead thinking about, okay, this is our sacred time every week. We have our family meeting, and we have something we do Friday night or sometime during the week where there's no electronics and it's just quiet.
Love that, Michelle. We work together a lot. We, see some of your students through executive function coaching. How does that parlay itself into what you do?
So, I love referring to you all, and I find that when they're working and doing executive coaching and tutoring, or one or the other, they really help to boost confidence academically, through skill building. I think it fosters a sense of control, especially for our kiddos that are having a lot of anxiety around school or just in general, that we know that when they feel a sense of control, that's going to decrease anxiety and build confidence. So, executive functioning skills build academic success by having the foundation of learning how to track work, learning, all the ins and outs. And we could spend a lot of time talking about what you do for executive functioning skills, but it just builds an overall sense of confidence and well-being as they develop new skills.
Michelle, I want to go back to something you said in the beginning. You said, if you're seeing a persistent pattern of kids struggling or feeling unsure, I think you mentioned 2 weeks. Is that about when parents should reach out to you?
I would say if the behavior, yes. If the behaviors last for 2 weeks or more, reach out. It's best to talk about what's happening and see if we can get some tools in place to help manage it right away before it becomes a crisis.
Yeah, that's such a good point. How can parents reach you?
They can reach us on our website, movingforwardplc.com. Google us. We're there. We're on Instagram, and we're happy to do a 15-minute free consultation, no charge. Just call and talk to us about what's going on, and we'll see, where we're at, and maybe we don't need to do anything yet, but we'll talk about what to look for some more, or we may decide to go ahead and get started.
Wonderful, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you.